of the compliance issues around your sales inspection reports. Now, the completion of an agency agreement actually needs to comply with both the rules of conduct and Section 37 of the Property and Stock Agents Act. So Schedule 2 of the rules of 1 and 2 of the rules of conduct and of the Property and Stock Agents Regulations 2014 states that a licensee must thoroughly undertake and complete a sales inspection report after inspecting the vendor's property and prior to entering into an agency agreement with the vendor. So this information is recorded, it must be recorded obviously, must include the agent's observations and description of the property, which is also prescribed in the rules of conduct in Schedule 2, and it actually has to be done, as I said, prior. The other issue is the licensee, the agent, the person going out there, the agent, whether it's an assistant agent who's going to have to get a licensed agent to sign off on it, or a licensed agent, cannot rely on information provided to them online or by third parties, as the legislative requirements make it clear that an agent must physically attend the property prior to entering into an agency agreement to carry out their inspection. You know, there's been a lot of talk about, you know, how does this fit with COVID and going into properties? Well, ultimately, you need to get into the property to show it. You needed to do that through the height of COVID and or even through lockdowns when you were doing private inspections. Nothing has changed. The legislative requirement is still that you must physically attend the property. So that's one of those issues there. Another one of the issues around that sales inspection report is don't write as per contract in the sales inspection report component. I know 20 plus, 30 plus years ago, that's what we were taught to do. It's not good enough anymore. People need transparency, people need specifics, and there needs to be details about what you're actually selling here. So, you know, in terms of writing as per contract, it's unlikely that you already hold a contract prior to entering into an agency agreement. Obviously, if you're entering into the agency agreement and the property's already been on the market with another agent or privately, and that contract already exists, sure, refer as per contract. But if you haven't actually asked the questions where you usually write as per contract, then, you know, do you really know what you're selling? So it is about that, showing that you're a professional, showing that you can do this, and actually getting into the details of what you're selling. So this includes the inclusions, the exclusions, the easements, restrictions, the property condition, the property description of the property, all of those things. Now, sometimes, obviously, you don't have all of that information available at the time of inspection. And even if you ask your vendor, they may not know the answers to that, particularly about the easements and some of the restrictions that might be on the property. Certainly, you can see the property condition and the description of it, and you can ask your vendor about what's included and what's excluded. You need to ask those questions. So obviously you can write not known to agent at this time, but you know, put in the information that you do have and that you can obtain at the time of listing. Failure to comply with these legislative requirements actually does constitute a breach of those rules of conduct that we talked about. And if an agent actually breaches these rules of conduct, it'll constitute a breach of Section 37(2). And also of the rules of conduct, and there's the clear probability there, if inspected on this and your files are audited, that a penalty infringement notice and with a fine that comes with $1,100 for the corporate licensee and $550 for the actual listing agent. I mean, you don't need those sorts of fines for just that section and that contravention of that section of the Act. So guys, get your sales inspection reports right, check them. Licensee in charge, you should be checking that these are okay. I mean, even if it's a random checks, and if you find one of the agents is not getting it right, then some extra training with them from you as the licensee in charge, you know, or, you know, just finding other training that they can do about that. Clearly, we can provide that for you. But, you know, you do need to be getting this right. You don't need the fines.